Hello and welcome, brothers and sisters of the multiverse. Today I want to talk about reflections, which we sadly see so little of nowadays. I mention it here and there in some of my videos, but it's really the hardest thing that people seem to find is just to pause in the first place. We learned from very early on, remember what you're told and all of that. And it was never emphasized the importance of questioning the things that we hear, right? Don't question your parents, they're always right, and such. And then teachers, and then bosses, and then governments, and all of it. I mean, even in small things, even reading a title of a newspaper article, we immediately get a certain response which is designed to do just that. But when you read the whole article, it actually doesn't say that at all. Often. Not to mention reading other independent news media that say a completely different story about the same happenings with a different perspective in a different way. Most people, sadly, don't even go there to even read that one article. And that's also connected with that flywire method I mentioned a few times. Just pause for a second would make a big difference for many people. Who does benefit from me feeling that way, thinking that way? I mean, it's business. Even news is business on multiple levels. And also in personal lives, in any kinds of relationships. If someone says something that strikes you a certain way, when was the last time you felt first and then thought later? If you did even that. I mean, we are all guilty of that. Sometimes. And only afterwards, maybe you think, oh, maybe I didn't understood that in a proper way, and then helped escalate the stuff because the other person didn't reflect on your reaction again, and it just spirals unnecessarily into escalations. We can prevent so much unnecessary stress and disagreements and such, just pausing and digesting the ingested information. That's the tragedy of fast lives that are forced upon us. You forget easily that these little things are not that little at all. Those little things are often keys for that branch of possibilities to derail us in a wrong direction. Every word, every reaction is an action that also causes then a reaction, right? At every one of these points in any conversation or any action is a chance, a true chance, and it's a choice to see it, to acknowledge it. And it doesn't cost much. It does cost a second or two. That's all. But our minds are always busy, busy, busy on 10 sides at once. So it doesn't allow us or it doesn't let us think we have the luxury of time. But we do. We just have to acknowledge it and take it. Just take a few seconds. It would probably feel weird for starters, for if you're in an interaction for both parties. Just say, wait a second. When you said that, I just felt that. But I want to make sure I understood you correctly. Did you mean by that, or that, or just straightforward ask, how exactly did you mean? Would you be so kind just to explain where you're coming from with this, or how do you mean that, or what are you implying, or whatever. Just pausing and asking before assuming. That would change quite a lot. Along that, our minds are not wired for constant bombardment of notifications, of all the download of input without reflections. It's like eating, right? You can't just eat and expect an easy and well and healthy go through and exit, right? You have to give your body time to digest what is coming in. The same is with information and feelings and all of that mental stuff. That's where so many unnecessary troubles and stresses just multiply. we can't do it. Imagine tennis players at work. The balls are flying so fast they don't even see the ball, they more like feel them and anticipate where they're gonna be because they have to signal their muscles in their bodies to move in certain directions and swing the racket in a certain way. This doesn't happen reflectively, but reflexively. And it works. But here's the thing, even in that automated reactions, there are those nanoseconds that feel for the players like eternities. It's like time stops. That can be learned in every interaction. It's like time stops. Okay, the opponent is in that sector of his field. His balance is on his right foot and would make it harder for him to get onto this other side, and therefore I'll play the ball in that corner or something. That happens. And it's trained. That's key. It's trained. They didn't start training tennis with that automated reflection kind of. It's trained. The same way we can train ourselves in every interaction, or every happening, or every reading of some clickbait title or something, to do that, to make that pause and reflect. Where is this coming from? What's the agenda? Who are paying those people to say these things in that certain way, or in which context is this article or something? From which journal? What are they biased towards, or dismissive against, or generally? So you have all these factors. Also in personal interactions, there are also other factors. What do I know about this person? His or her history and mindset and psych profile, if you will, her dreams and fears and his goals and whatever it is. If you do it subconsciously, without that pause, autopilot takes over. Then we miss the chance to maybe finally, for the first time, understand this person properly. And every such interaction and every change opens up a new branch of possibilities and steers that relationship to better or worst way, or you know, it's not to make anyone anxious of every second. Oh, well, what I'm gonna do? No, no, take it easy. Just take it easy. Just take it slowly. You can't, if you've never done this consistently over a period of time, can't just jump to from novice to pro. You gotta give yourself time. Be fair enough and just start small. And for those who do that sometimes, just keep at it. It becomes easier if you may have already noticed. With time and with training of that muscle, it becomes not only more effortless but also easier overall. It's just, I see, with time. And then, just don't react automatically in a certain way to certain things, certain words, certain scenes and scenarios and whatever. It's a very, very helpful tool in life overall. And it requires training and diligence, sometimes even vigilance, but that is also a muscle. And if that gets automated over time, things will get easier on a whole other level of clarity. With each pause and reflect, it's one more dirty windshield that is moved away from your vision of truth. People see their truth, right? Through let's say a blue and a red tainted windshield, and they say, oh, what's out there is purple. Then they move one away, the red one for example, and then say, oh, now I see, no, it's blue. But they have to go further, right? Remove the blue one, and then you see, oh, the cloud is actually white. Know what I mean? There are many layers of this. You just have to keep at it, but it's effortless once you're there. It's like everything else with training. If you never rode a bike, it seems so complicated, right? Oh, I have to add here and then look and the balance shifting of every push on the pedals, and then at the same time watching the environment and oh my god, and anxiety and all of that. But if you learn to do it and do it for a while, You don't even think about it. Your head is in a whole of other places when you ride a bike perfectly, right? It's the same with that. It just requires some self-discipline to keep at it for a while, to ask questions, to pause, to remain calm is rarely a bad idea, mostly. And just try. Just be adventurous enough to try at least for a while. The greatest tragedy is that point that most stresses and most arguments and most escalations are unnecessary. Just because no one in that interaction used that God-given ability to pause and reflect. It's not it's not that I'm trying to shame anyone. God forbid, I'm guilty of that myself. Sometimes, but I hope ever less. We were all there. It's just that we're all human. And just because it happens doesn't mean it needs to happen and it's unchangeable. We can minimize that. That's good enough. If we can try to minimize unnecessary stresses and arguments, misunderstandings and all of that, as adults, we have that responsibility to try. And that can quickly turn out to be better than people think. These aha moments, they're so precious to see, hey, I would have been wrong if I just reacted and I would jeopardize this relationship or whatever, or I would fall into that mindset trap or whatever it is. And with time and training, you get reflective automatically and it gets easier and you start to float over most things effortlessly. But it takes time and training, diligence and vigilance. It's part of being human. It's what not so long ago was simply considered part of being an adult human being. In the last few decades, it seemed to have been lost. We've forgotten, but we can remember. That's good news. We can just just have to decide to see it and not deny it. Pause and reflect and digest and watch what happens inside of you as an observer, objectively. Or you can just, if your hormones are raging, just say, give me 5 minutes, go other room, out or whatever, just breathe slowly for a while. Watch how your mind wants to get back into that automated scheme of I know better, I already know what they're gonna say, I already know where they're coming from, I already know. Just question that. Every once in a while at least. That'll help. You'll be surprised how often wrong you are. That's a good thing. Even if it's scary at the moment, long term, it's a fantastic thing to see that you have been wrong. And break the chains of the patterns, right? That you made at some point in your life to avoid pain, to not be hurt. But in the long term, it hurt even more. Keeping in the loop of the short-term pain prevention accumulates to double the possible pain of the real. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. And it's also always better to know the truth, however it looks like. And once you get over it, and the sooner the better, and you don't ever have to confront it again, hopefully, in a certain way. Only the first time is the worst. Earthquakes, for example. If you never experienced an earthquake, the first one would be terrifying, right? The first one would be, oh my God, the world is falling apart. But when you experience like 5 or 6 or 10 earthquakes in your life, you're eating your soup and everything starts shaking, you just put the plate up so you can better handle the fluid. Just keep eating. Try not to spill anything, but not freak out. Get used to it. It will be over in a few seconds and good. You know, it's the same with those pains we try to avoid. Nah, over time they just hurt more and they just keep us from evolving stronger. It's not worth it. Whatever life throws at you, there are always a few different ways how to handle them. As long as we handle them and not avoid them or try to avoid them and let those steer us like in those games where things are falling and you have to avoid them or something. Yeah. No. You can shoot at that or you can avoid it. Confronting them is shooting, destroying them, because then you get the points to upgrade your cannon. And every other rock, let's say, that falls down, you can get rid of it faster with better upgraded cannon. Right? But always avoiding it. And then one time there's a whole wall that is coming down. And you have that level 1 cannon. You're beep. Not in the best position. But if you have always confronted those stones or asteroids or whatever, and your cannon is level 20, those walls would be shattered to pieces in maybe in one. No biggie. You just eat your pretentious fruit like a pomegranate or something and play with one hand. Oh yeah, well, right? Whereas others that didn't do the work, the training, the confronting, the working through stuff, no amount of panicking will save them if their cannon is at level 1. Right? It's just life. You can't always avoid stuff. So it's better just to face it and work on it. And pause and reflect. And get stronger. Does that make sense? I hope so. Love you, brothers and sisters.